Hey, everybody. Something a little bit different happened during the podcast this week, and I wanted to kind of set it up a little bit before I showed you this clip. As always, you can listen to the whole episode here on YouTube or any place that you find your podcasts. The whole audio version is available. And this is an interview I did with the folks at Banting House with the curator, Grant. And Banting House is in Canada. It is known as the birthplace of insulin, and it's the house where Sir Frederick Banting woke up one night, woke up at 2 o'clock in the morning with the idea that led to the discovery of insulin. So during the interview with the curator, I realized that he was actually sitting in that bedroom. So we did not have the video on at the time. I was doing this via Zoom, but audio only. But then I decided we had to turn the camera on. How could I not show you that? So here's what happened. And then the rest of the interview goes from there.
Grant, before I let you go, let's put our video on real quick, if you don't mind.
Not at all.
I'm not sure what form this is going to take, but as you listen, a lot of times when I do Zoom interviews, we turn off the video because it's better for the audio. It's easier on the bandwidth. And also because I didn't put lipstick on today. But I didn't realize Grant was going to be in the bedroom, in Banting's room. And I thought, we cannot let this go. So I'm going to see if I can just make your room a little bit bigger. Let's see. There we go. I don't know if it'll record like that, but we'll give it a try. Can you give us a quick little tour of where you are? Would you mind? We might lose the audio a little bit, but I think it'll be worth it.
Sure. Okay. So, over my shoulder is the 100th anniversary stamp. I am on a laptop, so I'll sort of let me disconnect this. It's sort of, we've turned it into a bit of a makeshift studio. So if I can.
Oh, no, you can't. I think you have to leave it the way it was. We just
There we go. No, that's my bad hand. There we go. So as I try and show, so there's the stamp, the first day cover. And I'll stand up and let everyone sort of get a picture of the room. It's behind me, like a laptop selfie. So that's Dr. Banting's bed there. And so we've had scientists from around the world come to sheepishly lean against it because, you're not supposed to touch anything in a museum. And so I'll say, well, it's not the mattress, it's the frame. And they'll grab the foot of the bed, and while it's difficult to see, the finish has been rubbed off because they're all rubbing it and want to take a picture of it. I actually had one scientist lay down on the bed, and which you might have crossed the line doing that. We'll let you sit on it. But when he sits up, he says, "Now I've been here, maybe now I can finish his work. I've been doing diabetes research for more than 30 years. Of course, I'm tempted to say, well, if you think a power nap's going to help, sure, I'll turn off the light and close the door for you. But that really speaks to how important this place is and what it means to people. Probably the most emotional story and most relevant was a young
Grant,
mom.
I'm going to cut you off. Can you put the laptop back down and sit? Because it's just difficult. It's a really great view over your shoulder, but it's difficult I know to talk and hold it. And I want to hear your story.
Sure. So let's see if I can at least get the. So, a couple of quick stories. So I had a woman from England come through, senior citizen, cultural tourist. Our visitors will drop hints as to how they're affected by diabetes. They either flat out say it or I'm on the pump or what have you. And she gets in the room and she starts getting emotional, as emotional as an English woman would allow in public. Pretty stiff upper lip. And so I asked her why it's affecting her. And she says, I've waited 20 years to come to Canada to see this house because someone had sent her the biography. And she says, the controversy over the issue of credit and the discovery of insulin means nothing to my family. Because Dr. Banting woke up in this room with this idea the day he did, means insulin was discovered the day it was, which means it arrived in England the day it did, which meant my father, who was at that hospital that received one of those early batches, was able to get his first shot.
Wow.
Pregnant pause, which meant 15 years later, I was born.
Yeah.
I got to meet the missing generation because you think of those, in the early 20s, insulin limited supply, and it literally was pick and choose. You've been on this diet for a few weeks. I don't know you feel well. I'm not sure this child's waking up tomorrow, so we'll give them that shot. So for me, I've been telling that story for almost 30 years, and I still get goosebumps doing it. But probably the most emotional was a young mom, maybe 30, first child, 10 months old, is diagnosed with type 1. So youngest in Southwestern Ontario. just being a new mom is overwhelming enough. And then gets hit with this. And this is pre-internet. So this is, and this is the era where, you're diagnosed at breakfast, you're home at supper.
Yeah.
This is, you're in the hospital for about a week. As a parent, you're taking the classes, stacks and stacks of reading. Every intern, here's my first paper, youngest in Southwestern Ontario. And so she just needs to get out. So she comes to Diabetes Canada. What's a glucometer? What have you? And a getting parent is just, you want everything. She wants to tour the museum too, which we offer. And it's some it's going to be retained, but some of it's just trying to make sense of the world. And she comes to the bedroom and she sits on the bed and just lets go. And that's okay. If you're crying, you get it. You're not the first person. You're not going to be the last. You take all the time you need. My office is just down the hall. So about 10 minutes later, still here crying. So you do what you always do. You just bring a box of Kleenex and come to the room. And I'm about 1.5 feet, 2 feet inside the room. And she just looks up at me, stands up, deep breath, instantly dries up. No, thank you. I will never shed another tear over this. My child is going to live because of what happened in this room all those years ago.
Wow.
Which point, well, here, ma'am, here's the keys. You can lock up when you're ready to go. As they say, 100 years later, we have better insulin. What we don't have is anything better than insulin. And that's why this room is so important to so many people. And why, for me, it makes this job so satisfying, because I get to meet these people for whom this story means the most to and has import and effect on.
It is so much more than a museum. It's a typical museum. It's unbelievable. Wow. Well, Grant Maltman, thank you so much for spending so much time with me and for taking us into the room. I hope to see it someday in person.
My pleasure. Until you can get here, Banting House, NHS.ca. Please pop in and drop us a note. We'd love to hear from you.